Hello, YouTube. It's Charles the Destroyer, and we are going to watch Hollywood's Rough Start to 2025, and it'll probably get worse by The Critical Drinker. So grab your snackies, grab your bevies, let me know what you're eating or drinking down below. And let's get to watching.
Oh dear, 2025 isn't getting off to a great start, is it?
Well, we finally have the astronauts back planet side. They're no longer stuck in the ISS, so that's a positive thing, maybe.
Especially if you happen to work in Tinseltown. I mean, the first quarter of the year generally isn't filled with too many box office juggernauts. January and to some extent February are well known as dump months, where studios shart out the malformed runts of the litter that they don't expect to have a chance against the big hitters in summer movie season. The reasons for this are pretty obvious. Everyone's broke after the festive season and more concerned with losing those beer guts than shoveling overpriced popcorn down their gullets.
I'm gonna be 100%. I have no idea what any of these movies are. Like, they're like he's showing what I assume to be like movies starting off 2025. I have no idea what they are. Like, I none of this is like I've not seen any of these at all. Like also I haven't been to or wanted really to see a movie in a while. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have very high faith or trust in Hollywood right now.
The weather's still dark and cold most of the time, unless you're one of those weirdos who lives in Australia, but I don't trust a single one of them. And nobody's feeling particularly enthusiastic about dragging themselves to the movie theatre to shell out $100 to do something they could just as easily do at home for free. Now that's fine and all, but generally by March things have started to noticeably pick up. As the weather improves, people have more money again, and bigger and more interesting movies start to come out.
Really?
But here's the thing, it's not happening this year, like at all. And the problem has been neatly summed up by
Novocaine tops worst weekend of year. There's a movie called Novocaine. I read Novocaine and immediately that one song called Novocaine started playing in my head. Like, I don't know what that is. Theater owners are counting down the days until Disney's Snow White opens. That's a choice. That's not good. I really don't feel... You're going to go see the 4K Princess Mononoke next weekend, so that'll be your first theater. As much as I like Princess Mononoke, I fully feel like re-releasing the Ghibli movies is like a cash grab. And like, good for them, but I own those movies and I can just watch them comfortably at home with my own popcorn. And that's what I would rather do. If it is not so, like, okay, I go to movies halfway to be sociable, but I don't want to waste my time and money, you know? So they haven't been good. Like, they have not been good. The movies lately.
this article from The Hollywood Reporter that describes the movie Novocaine as leading the worst weekend of the year so far at the box office.
No shit.
I mean, I can't say I'm too surprised, to be honest. We're not exactly swimming in unmissable content right now. Take Novocaine, for example. Tell me, do you want to see Jack Quaid playing a weak man who gets his ass kicked over and over again? You know, like every other role he's played for the past 5 years? Jesus, I don't know what that dude must have done to anger the powers that be in Hollywood, but it must have been something pretty bad because his entire career seems to have been one long humiliation ritual. Here's a little tip for you, Hollywood. We've had our fill of weak male characters being humiliated and beat down, thank you. Maybe you could try switching things up and...
Yeah, the blue milk thing was kind of weird. Like, that scene was kind of weird. You could have just let that been an unanswered, like, thing, you know?
writing male leads that don't make us want to throw up in our mouths.
Why?
Then there's Mickey 17, a misfiring sci-fi comedy with one of the worst cases of TDS outside of Mark Hamill's living room that feels like it was written 10 years ago, cost $120 million to make, and has raked in a grand total of $90 million worldwide. Or how about Captain America Brave New World, which is somehow still hanging on in cinemas more than a month after release.
More than a month? Because they're trying to milk it. So I feel like, okay, so there's like this whole thing of like, so like movie is like $120 million, right? To make. In general, that does not include like press tours, advertisement, and a bunch of other stuff. So it has to like almost, I don't know how true this is. This is just some like information that I was reading up on. You have to make significantly more than how much it was like made for, that they like, oh, this is the budget of it. Like you have to, it has to generate more than what they claim the budget of it was to actually make profit. And a lot of movies are not doing that and have not been doing that for like a minute. So like Novocaine cost 18 million to make and has made 10 million so far. Dawnbreaker, thank you for the follow. So like in general, it probably technically costs more than 18 million at the end of the day. Because like just making it, does that cover like press and advertisement and like all this other stuff that they put money into it? Or is that just the production cost of just the movie itself? You know?
Probably because there's fuck all left to compete with it. A movie that cost anywhere up to $300 million after all the reshoots failed to even
Yeah, like you have to double the budget just to break even on it. Like, yeah.
reached 400 million worldwide and seems to have disappeared without a trace after its opening weekend, becoming Marvel's first flop of the year. Don't worry though, I suspect it won't be the last.
Yeah.
The only decent movie
Yes.
out right now is Steven Soderbergh's spy thriller Black Bag, with an all-star cast and a pretty slick screenplay, which for some reason has been lumbered with a non-existent marketing campaign to the point where I didn't even know the movie fucking existed until I saw it on my local cinema listings. Seriously, go watch it if you can and support movies that actually deserve it. Either way though, none of this is going to change the fact that the first quarter of 2025 is shaping up to be pretty dismal for Hollywood, with a series of flops and underperformers failing to liven up what's already a pretty slow period. What really made me laugh though was the idea that distributors are holding out hope for Snow White to turn their fortunes around. Hate to break
Does any of us really feel like Snow White, first of all, is gonna do well? I just really feel like a lot of us are just burnt out on the remakes and the sequels. Like, you know, at least I am. I'm super, super tired of all the remakes and the sequels. And it feels like that's everything. It's either a prequel, a sequel, or a remake of something. And I'm tired of that. Like, and even like, okay, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I really I liked the Cinderella remake, like the live action, like Disney's live action Cinderella that came out. I enjoyed that one. Every single thing that came out after it, I'm kind of like, okay, this, especially the ones that are like almost a shot by shot remake, or like, hey, we're gonna change some major plot points in it, or some major scenes at least in it. And I'm just kind of like, okay, if you're gonna make some major scene changes, please make a unique experience, which I feel like the Cinderella one was a unique experience. You can argue that that's fine. There's so many takes on Cinderella. There really are. There's so many Cinderella movies. They all have the same plot points, right? Because it's all based on the same like fairy tale, but they're all unique in different ways. I think they're all pretty good in different ways, honestly. You can have the same major plot points because it's all the same fairy tale, but you can make it a unique movie experience. You can make it unique, okay? You can make it good. I don't need a shot-by-shot remake with slight changes of your animated movie. These aren't your animated movies. Make something different. Just make something different. Like, make it, like, be like, we're making a Snow White, but it's not, like, bad. I don't know. Like, you know? Everything I've seen about this Snow White does not make me want to go see it. It makes me want to not go see it, in fact. So I'm just like, you can just, there's a bunch of Snow White movies out there. You can make a slightly original spin on it with the same fucking plot point. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm not fine. It drives me insane.
Like it to you chaps, but with a projected 50 million opening weekend and some of the worst PR in Hollywood history, something tells me this isn't going to be the box office savior you're hoping for. So if not Snow White, then...
Also, I'm so mad. So there's like a Rachel... Yeah, so there's like Rachel Ziegler or whatever went and like did like an homage to apparently like the original voice of Snow White or whatever. And like she had like this like side by side comparison or whatever, like her hair and makeup are done and all this other stuff, whatever. Her hair looked way better in that side by side comparison than it does in the freaking movie, and I'm so mad about it. Why does her hair look so unflattering?
This isn't going to be the box office savior you're...
I'm not getting over this. Why is her hair so unflattering? It's not important in the grand scheme of things, but it bothers me so much. I don't understand.
You're hoping for. So if not Snow White, then can anything jolt cinemas into life over the next few months? Well, the...
No, I'm not even saying like, oh, make Snow White the villain. You can make a Snow White movie. There are so many Snow White based things out there. You can argue there's Snow White elements in like the 10th Kingdom. There's like, oh God, I don't remember. There's like a bunch of like live action ones that are out there that have like either Snow White theming or are just straight up a Snow White movie with changes into it. You can do this. It's fine. People take old fairy tales and use them all the time. There's freaking manga and manhwa that is based off a lot of these fairy tales. Like, I'm not even joking. And they take a, like, interesting spin on them. Okay? So Mirror Mirror, that's what I'm thinking about. Yes. So I haven't seen Huntsman, but there is Huntsman. Mirror Mirror is the one I was thinking about. Once Upon a Time has it. You can take these fairy tales and use them as a general basis and then build upon them. You can do that. That is what you have done with every freaking fairy tale that you have made an animated story for. You don't take these fairy tales and make them a one by one, movie based off the actual fairy tale, because a lot of these fairy tales are kind of dark. Okay, you're not doing what the original fairy tale is doing. You're putting the Disney spin on it, okay? Hey, maybe go based on the actual fairy tale and make it a little darker. Or do something actually original with it. Change it from your original movie that you changed the fairy tale to be of anyway. It drives me insane. The whole thing is that you took fairy tales that have like a lot of dark elements to them and made them more family friendly and more hopeful and more just full of love and positivity and shit like that. Why can't you just do something like a little different? Like you used to do. Like put any thought into it. Any thought at all. This gets me heated every time. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm so frustrated with what Disney's doing with its live action remakes. Because again, I thought the Cinderella one was good. And I was like, oh, this makes me hopeful for the rest of them. And I have sworn off of them at this point. Why? Why? Why aren't we making any money? Because you're Hollywood's soulless right now. That's why. You've taken the art out of Hollywood. And it's boring.
Minecraft movie's coming out in April, which actually seems to have recovered from that disastrous first trailer to build up some decent momentum. Generally these days I see Jack Black movies as the place where comedy and entertainment go to die, but the Minecraft brand is so strong that it's probably going to do well with kids at least. Thunderbolts seems neatly positioned to be another Marvel dud. Tonally it looks broadly in line with Brave New World, lots of clandestine missions and government conspiracies, only without the big name stars and recognisable characters, so so I've got no idea what Marvel thinks the actual draw is supposed to be. Hey, wanna watch a film about a bunch of second-rate rejects from movies and TV shows you can barely remember, who aren't big enough to support their own solo flicks? Didn't think so. Mission Impossible's probably gonna do well in May, even though it's coming off the back of Dead Reckoning, if for no other reason than it's likely Tom Cruise's final outing in the franchise. Although fuck me, that guy's probably still gonna be doing action flicks when he's like 80 years old.
Another Mission Impossible. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I do think Marvel Thunderbolts, I'm just kind of like, this feels like it should have been a Disney Plus thing. I don't know. But all of the people that are involved in it are first appeared in Disney Plus shows. So haha, it's another you have to watch all the Disney Plus shit to understand what's happening in this movie, which I'm tired of, which is why I've not been watching Marvel superhero movies for a while. This is just going to be me negative this whole freaking thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I'm so frustrated with Hollywood. I used to love going to movies and like it's just I don't want to waste my Okay, this is like a thing with movies. You vote with your wallet. If you by giving them money, by going to a movie theater, you're like, "Yes, this is good content. Keep making this." No. None of the shit that you're making is good content. Like, you've been making mediocre bullshit and you've been trying to shove it down my throat. And I'm not interested in that. I watch anime, okay? I read light novels. I read fan fiction. I don't need your mediocre, random, regurgitated crap, okay? I can get my entertainment elsewhere. All right? We are living in indie animation time, okay? Like, come on. This is driving me insane.
For some reason, all the big hitters seem to be sandwiched into July, with Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World Rebirth duking it out for box office supremacy. And honestly, I wouldn't want to take bets on who's gonna win this one. The Jurassic World movies have all been strong performers. Damn man, even a retarded bag of shit like Dominion somehow topped $1 billion. So there's a pretty strong chance that Rebirth might end up sweeping the superhero movies aside altogether. And let's not kid ourselves, if they both flop, that might just spell the end for cape shit movies in general, which have been declining for years by this point. 3 box office.
That's because you haven't been making good ones. I really feel like Marvel should just be like, after the whole Thanos thing got wrapped up, they probably should have nuked, waited a year or two, and restarted. Because now they're just trying to shoehorn in characters that aren't like the big characters, quote unquote, that no one really knows. Or like a lot, like the normies do not know of. And the normies are what are buying the most of your tickets, I feel. Like, you might be doing better now that there's like Marvel Rivals out and like a lot of people are playing Marvel Rivals. Like maybe you can, but like, I'm sorry, Ironheart isn't in Marvel Rivals. Like, you know, you're trying to shove Ironheart down our throats. Kind of. Actually, you're not, because like she was in one movie and like you're just not really doing anything else with it. And I don't understand. I don't understand the choices that are being made. Anyway, again, this whole thing is just going to be me being negative, but like, it really does kind of feel like, yeah, maybe they didn't know what to do after Endgame. I don't know. I'm just like, I really think they should have restarted. If nothing else, like they have too many things going concurrently. And even if it's not concurrently, it's just like you have to watch all of these things to really understand what's going on. And I'm like, cool, you've lost me. When you had maybe 1 or 2 movies coming out in a year, I could keep up. But now you have multiple movies coming out and TV shows coming out. And I'm lost. Like, I don't have the time or the care to invest the amount of time You want me to invest in all of this. It was supposed to be a fun movie thing a couple of times a year. That's what it was for me. And now it's more. And I'm sorry, this is not my entire life. I've got other stuff going on, and I don't care that much for mediocre movies now. So I don't know if I'm going to be watching another Marvel movie anytime soon.
Bombs in a row would be definitive proof that the MCU has finally burned through all the fan goodwill that it spent a decade building up. On the other hand, Superman failing to launch would be a huge blow to James Gunn's attempt to relaunch DC, which already seems to be on shaky ground the more I learn about it. One way or another, July is going to be a make or break month for a lot of different franchises, and while there's always a chance that two big superhero movies released around the same time might end up creating a Barbenheimer effect where they build each other up instead of cannibalizing each other's audience, I don't get the impression that we're heading in that direction. The fact is, there's just not that much to get excited about at the cinema this year. 2025 is mostly another year dominated by sequels and franchises that feel increasingly tired and played out. Speaking of which, there's another Avatar movie coming out in December to round.
That one's actually coming out like relatively quickly after the water one. Relatively quickly. I still haven't watched the water one. I'm gonna be honest. It really feels like I want to watch it on a plane. Like, I don't know why I want to watch it on a plane, but I want that to be my on-plane entertainment. There's no reason for it. But I'm like, it feels like it's something I should be watching while trapped on a plane. It was not good. Okay. Like, listen. Why do they have 5 of these movies planned? Like, I don't understand why they have 5 of them planned. I think it was 5, right? I'm just like, sure. Why did it take so long between the first and the second one? Like, this is not a movie that I feel like I can sit down and just watch. Just in my living room, just on a Tuesday. Like, just, I'm just not gonna. Like, if I watch any of these, it's because I'm sitting on a plane going somewhere. That's just how I feel that's gonna go.
Out the year. Another 3-hour James Cameron tech demo that's probably gonna rake in a shit zillion dollars, make absolutely zero cultural impact, and be forgotten about within a matter of weeks. The movie equivalent of a fast food meal. Seriously, how can a guy who gave us Terminator, Aliens, and Titanic devote so much of his life and career to something so fucking shallow? Anyway, whatever. If he wants to spend the back half of his career churning out movies that nobody's ever gonna remember, I'm not gonna defend him for it.
People who go to Disney World will remember them. Kind of. I will give... I don't know if you guys remember the original Avatar being in theaters. They did a lot of very interesting stuff at the time. So it was beautiful in the way that they used 3D, because at the time, 3D was the thing that it's everything's gonna be 3D. No, it's a gimmick. It's always a gimmick. 3D is always a gimmick. Like 100%. I don't know why you're pushing it so hard. Every single movie was 3D back then. And this one, at least, J-Man, thanks for the follow. This one at least did depth 3D as opposed to like coming out of your TV at you 3D. Like, ooh, look at it. It's so close to my face. Like, no, it's not. So instead of doing that, they used 3D to give it more depth, which was really interesting. 3D, huh? No, because I'm talking about 3D. That's funny. So, yeah, 3D is 100% a gimmick. Like, it's stupid. I'm sorry. But, like, thank you for headpads. They used the 3D element to give more depth to the movie, like to scenes. Like there was like an actual depth of field that you could see, like you can actually feel it. So instead of it coming out of the screen at you, there were parts that were more recessed, if that made any sense to you at all. It was a really good use of 3D technology that felt less gimmicky. Like, it's still a gimmick, but it was less gimmicky. It enhanced more than just being like, tee-hee, this is neat. Like, so I will give them that, and it is very pretty to look at. The colors, they glow. The plants glow. But, like, it's Ferngully Dances with Wolves. Like, it is what it is. It's a storyline we have seen how many times? Like, every generation gets one of these movies, basically, in some way, shape, or form. Except this one is very long. So, I don't know.
The point I'm making here is that the sluggish start to the year, coupled with the complete lack of interest in awards season, feels like a symptom of a larger problem in the movie industry right now. There's just no anticipation, no real excitement for anything new, no sense of a shared cultural experience that we can't wait to talk about. There's a kind of weariness that's settled over the film industry these past few years, an apathy, an inertia, like everyone's basically out of ideas, the occasional attempts at something new are all failing, and so they're all just waiting around for the next big trend to jump on. The problem is that nobody's quite sure what it's going to be, when it's coming, or has the balls to actually take a risk and make it happen. So instead, we're stuck in this awkward holding pattern, churning out sequels to aging franchises just to keep kicking the can down the road a little while longer, waiting for something or someone to shake things up. I don't know when or if that's ever going to happen, but what I do know is that if the Hollywood system even hopes to survive the next few years, they need to find a solution pretty fucking fast.
There's also something to note that, like, COVID and lockdown kind of changed the landscape, specifically about going to movie theaters. It opened up the ability to not have to go to a theater to watch a movie. And things come out on streaming services that you are probably already paying for very quickly. Like, very quickly. And even if even if it doesn't come out that quickly, you can rent Hollywood movie, like, you can rent a movie on a streaming service for, like, about the price or maybe a little bit more expensive than going to a movie theater, which means you can pull all your friends to come watch a movie with you, and you can all pitch in to buy the freaking movie, or quote unquote rent the movie to watch it, and it's cheap as hell because you're just doing it from home. Solar God, thank you for the follow. So it's like, hey, go grab 5 of your friends and all pitch in like a couple of bucks, and one of you rent the movie on a TV, bring your own snacks, get a whole ass pizza or cook or whatever, and sit there and watch a movie. You can pause when you need to pause it. Someone wants a bathroom break, we'll just pause the movie. Or, the food's here, we'll just pause the movie. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can rewind parts of it. Like, from the comfort of your own home, at your own leisure, at your own time frame, that works. You can talk through it and then rewind it or whatever. You're not bothering anybody. Like, it's just you and your friends, and it's significantly cheaper than going to a movie theater and all of you buying a $20+ ticket. Because it's like 20 something bucks, maybe $35 maybe, depending on when you rent it and what you rent it from. Like, come on. Come on. COVID accelerated the downward spiral of movie theaters. Yep. It did give people more options. The only advantage of theater is the sound system. Some people have, like, surround sound and shit in their homes. I mean, I don't, but, like, whatever. I'm not, like, that big of a, like, I don't find watching media that big of a deal that I feel like I need a surround sound system. That's just me personally. But, like, some people have that shit. That's more accessible today than it has ever been. get freaking wireless sound systems now. It's not even that hard to set it up. Like, I know because I just set up my parents. So, like, you've given people an easier time, a cheaper time than going to a movie theater whose prices keep climbing higher and higher and higher. And all of the movie theaters are not in good shape, right? Because they're like falling apart almost, or they're old or whatever. And the price of their food's really high. The price of the tickets are really high. The movies aren't that good. You walk out pissed off that you spent $20-something or more, depending on if you bought snacks and stuff, on something that was kind of mediocre. When you could have just stayed at home, had your own snacks, brought your friends over. Now the ticket, quote unquote, is maybe $5 between all of you. And you are in the leisure of your own home and you can talk your shit you want to talk. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You can pause it. You can rewind it. You can turn on fucking closed captionings. Sorry, I like closed captionings because I sometimes miss things. So, like, I'm just saying. If the only way you're getting money is by box office shit, I mean, y'all maybe jumped a little too eagerly on the bandwagon of streaming during the pandemic and lockdown. I understand why you did that, but you did it maybe a little too eagerly. You made it too easy for people to access movies from the comfort of their own home. A lot of them realized how significantly cheaper it was. I don't even mean... So at the time of the pandemic, I worked in a pharmacy, right? And my boss had 3 kids. And he was telling me about how significantly easier and cheaper it was for him to rent the Trolls movie from Paramount Plus or whatever streaming service the Troll movie was on. How so much cheaper it was for him. Because it was like, instead of going and buying 2 adult tickets and 3 children's tickets at a movie theater and then all of the snacks and stuff, he just has to pay like $35 at his house, give them the snacks that they already bought at the store, and sit them down and they can watch it like a couple times or whatever. And it was so much cheaper and was just easier. And I was like, yeah, so I bet you anything, a lot of families realized, oh man, it's so much cheaper not to go to the physical movie theater. So, like, it's hurting your bottom box office line.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now. Oh dear,
Go away now. I feel like there's a whole different experience seeing a movie in the theater than at home, right? Like an example being Jurassic World was a much different movie in theaters versus at home, but that might just be my bias as a cinema lover. Hello. So, like, yes, but also when you have burnout, like, especially after a global pandemic where there was like shutdowns and stuff, if like people are experiencing burnout, like things are expensive, right? So a lot of people are looking around trying to figure out what is a cheaper option. And everybody has like 5 different streaming services right now. Or some of them are picking and choosing what streaming services. So it's like there's definitely a situation like I currently have HBO. I need to like cancel HBO actually. But like I currently have it because of some of the stuff I was watching. But it's just like, hey, I will have a streaming service for like the month to watch whatever thing or like 2 months to watch whatever thing. Hey, friends, do you want to come over and watch movies that are on the streaming service that you don't have that I'm currently paying for this month and we can just have a couple of fun nights where we watch this thing? Or like I'm going to go over to my friend's house who has a different streaming service that I don't have and they have different movies on that streaming service than I have on the ones that I have, you know? And it's cheaper because you're already paying for it or someone is already paying for it. The movie theater is more of a novelty, but like also it's just like I don't know. The movie, like going to a physical. I'm already wearing a 3D hat. You want me to take it off? Going to a physical theater is fun. I do enjoy it, but I'm not going to go and pay $20 to go see something kind of mediocre. Like, I'm just not going to do it. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my money. Like, I really like going to a movie theater. I do. But I'm not going to go when the prices are as high as they are and what I am seeing isn't worth it to me. I'm also a big introvert, but like I'm just saying, like if I don't feel, oh my god, you guys are spamming me with the hats. The hats are about to have to go on cooldown. Like if I feel like everything coming out of Hollywood lately has been just mediocre and just not good and not original and just a sequel or a remake or a prequel or just in a franchise that I've basically given up on because nothing is really good and nothing is capturing me and nothing is making me want to go see it. Like, okay, I'm not going to go see it. I'm not going to go waste my money on something. And also, like, just like it's rare for me because I don't have cable and I don't watch a lot of stuff that much, to be honest. I'm not even aware of half of what's going on in theaters at any given time. Goat of Doom, thank you for the follow. Like, I'm just like unaware. Like, I didn't know what any of these movies are. I know about Captain America, Thunderbolts, and like Snow White. The rest of the movies, I was like, I haven't heard of these. Like, haven't heard of them. So, the reason why snacks and drinks and stuff are so expensive is because that is where the movie theater gets its money. Because they rent the movies. So, movie theaters basically rent the movies. They, like, buy the rights and they rent the movie to show the movie. They don't buy the rights to the movies, but they buy the right to show the movie to people, basically. And, like, they rent the movie, like, the projection, whatever, to put on the movie. So they don't really make money necessarily from ticket sales. Those ticket sales go to, like, the owner of these movies. And then they make most of their money from, like, popcorn sales, candy sales, drinks, that kind of stuff. That's why they're expensive. But yeah, I don't know. I just want the artistry to come back to Hollywood and for them to make actually interesting, good movies. That's it. I would love to go to a movie theater. I would love to go see fun movies. It just feels like we're stuck in everything has to be a superhero movie or a sequel. That's it. Or maybe a remake. That's it. And I'm like, it's not what I want. Or everything has to be super, super safe. In a way that's boring. And that's not what I want. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what I want. I just want something freaking interesting. I want the magic of Hollywood back. I want the magic of movies back. Not mediocrity, I'm gonna be honest.